Alright, part two. I left off, I wanted to say, like, about, other than preparing for cons, you know what I do, there's also, kind of relevant, kind of the same thing, but kind of different, skits or vlogs or whatever. Let's talk about the simpler things, vlogs. Vlogs, aren't so big and massive, especially when you're filming by yourself and not like I guess, challenges. I'm not a challenge video guy, but I know people do that. Um, Setting up for that stuff is pretty easy. You know, if you have a DSLR, you know, you gotta make sure the camera's on, the mic is on, gotta make sure the tripod, you know, the legs are all aligned, nothing's like sinking a bit. Look at the bubble if you have a little bubble thing on your tripod. Um, yeah, right before you're recording, you gotta make sure everything is. I guess you gotta be a perfectionist sometimes. That's very important. When filming skits, that's a huge thing. Mike mentioned something before that I don't know if he's going to mention in the next part, but I'm just going to point out what I do at least. When it comes to filming skits with more than just one person, uh, this is stuff like TV or movies. It's acting. You gotta make sure you are rehearsing with your cast at least once or twice. What I do before we do a line, most of the time at least, I tell the other person, you know, right before they do a line, like, you want to rehearse it first. You want to see how this goes before you know, say it and then crack your voice a bit, uh, and see if I like how you do it or not. Uh, as a director, directing people, at least, that's very important. You got to make sure you're on top of everything. A director is not just to like point people to do one or two things. You are directing more than one person to do one or two things, usually more, while having the complete trust and faith that they will do their job correctly, even though it's not this big of a thing to do. And Michael just left, so forget that. Oh, I see how it is. You don't care about what I'm talking about,
There,
huh?
dude, I just got. I had to shut my door. There was a lot of noise coming out
Oh
there.
no. Um,
Massive laugh track.
um, I don't really know what else to cover. Okay, let's. I guess for those that want to do gaming channels, that's you,
We know about that.
we're covering everything, man. Okay. When preparing for that, like I haven't
If
done
we
much of
don't
a
know about it, we'll cover it too.
yeah. Like I've been thinking of getting like an Elgato, which you know, for console games. I know like one or two guys that have it and that record with it, and I know it takes a few steps, and you gotta make sure you get the right wires, and if you don't have the wires, you gotta go out to buy those, and you need the money for those, and it's. I'll say this: when it comes to preparing for anything, money is the biggest thing you will ever have a problem with. And it's never anything you're gonna get all at once. You gotta settle for things. I settled for. Oh, actually, I have it right here. Coincidentally, I don't have to go out to my backpack. This was my very first camera, very tiny handy cam. I did not need to start off with a DSLR, which are those cameras that have, you know, the big lenses and the mics that you can plug in on top. I mean, sometimes handy cams can have a, you know, little mic to plug in, but for the most part, starting off with something as simple as this is very good, along with a tripod, along with one or two SD cards, and then you're good. Editing programs, of course, I mean, Windows Movie Maker, not Live Movie Maker. I swear to God, if anyone uses that, you are dead to me. Windows Movie Maker, that's fine to use. iMovie,
Dude,
I guess.
what do you have against Windows Live Movie Maker?
It's
That's how
not
I
an
make all
editor,
the.
it's just a thing you could
That's how I do
drag your
all the
videos in
dude. That's how I do
and
all the special effects across the fourth wall. You know when that giant portal opened up at
yeah,
the
yeah,
end
when
of
the Mega
episode.
Man Buster, yeah,
That
that
was
whole thing.
all Windows Live Movie Maker.
Windows
I
Live
couldn't have done
Movie
it without
Maker.
it.
God damn it. Yeah, my green screens were made with Windows Movie Maker. So I stepped up
You
a
can
notch.
actually do green screens in a version of Windows Movie Maker.
Really?
It's available now in newer
Well,
versions.
that's good for beginners, actually. Not bad,
No,
not
it's
bad.
a fantastic thing for
Wow.
beginners. I have an editing software I prefer for beginners as well
Uh,
that goes beyond Movie Maker, but I'll let you finish your thing.
I was kind of coming to near an end to mine. Like, we would probably have to go into yours for this part, for the second half, and then get into the next part, unless if
Yeah.
I have anything else I can
And then we can kind of like cover
mention.
a few more things. Like I'm really only going to cover the stuff that I've actually had experience with, which is basically everything. But I mean, I'm only
Yeah.
going to cover things I specifically worked on. Because I've
Actually,
done
I
a
could.
gaming show before, I've done vlogs before. I've done a few challenge videos, but then I realized they're kind of like the scum of the internet.
Yeah. I actually
Maybe,
thought of
maybe
something
they're
that
better. They might be better than reaction videos, which I've done too.
we've all. I've
I
done
mean,
too.
it depends on how you do your reaction video. If it's like you discussing something, then that's something else. But if it's just you sitting at a computer, like staring at your computer
Yeah.
screen, watching it,
If you're not like
I mean,
saying
don't get me
anything.
wrong. I've watched those before because sometimes like it's tempting to watch them.
Yeah.
Uh, I
See
don't know.
see what they're gonna do. See if they're gonna like blink once. No, but I did think of something else to kind of talk about when talking about preparing for filming anything. It's always important, other than money, other than having the right equipment, other than making sure you feed your dog on time. You gotta make sure you are mentally prepared. You gotta make sure that even though it's a non-scripted thing like a vlog, you gotta make sure you have this outline in your head of what you're going to say. For my last update, after a very long hiatus on my channel, I not only had a little outline in my head, but I wrote down a few things. You even saw me in the video, like I had my phone with me and I checked, did I miss anything? It's always good to have a checklist, either written down or in your head, uh, or even if it's scripted, just so then you know how exactly you're going to do it. I'm one of those people that likes to um, get things done before they are done. I think there's another way of saying that, but I like to be prepared. I'm one of those kind of people that's very tedious, very OCD, I guess, and
Yeah,
which is kind of good. It
it
might
is.
sound like a downfall, but it's very handy in life or in filmmaking. You just gotta be mentally prepared, man. You gotta make sure you're on top of everything. Again, with directing, if you are not in that mindset, you're gonna have a big problem. Either you're gonna be stressed out, or you're gonna think everything is fine until you see the post production, and it's gonna look horrible. It's going to suck, and you're gonna wish you can go back to filming that. But what if you have one of those days where you were only able to film it once because a friend of yours was in town for only a week, and you only were able to film with him for a day, and you filmed with him for that day, and you check back on the footage, and it sucked. You gotta make sure of that. Or if like weather's coming up, you have another day to film with your friend, but the rest of the days there's bad weather. You gotta be prepared for that stuff. You gotta be ready for the worst. So when it comes to filming anything, check the weather, check your money, check your mind, check people's schedules. You gotta call up on people. You gotta make sure that they are 100% committed, even though it's not something that they will be paid for. You gotta make sure that they're good friends, I guess, not complete jerks that are just there for the attention. Right, Mike?
Friendship, attention.
Yeah.
Um,
Um.
Before we end this part, I want to say something kind of going off of what you said.
You got 30 seconds. Go.
I got a minute and 30 seconds.
I got 8.5 minutes here. I want to end this at 9 minutes always, if we can, or around that.
Well, okay, let me
No
like
pressure.
use as much of the time as I can.
Okay.
I want to just mention the editor actually real quick, just because I meant to say this before. Windows Movie Maker, it's probably the best editing software to start with.
Mm.
If you've never touched an editor before, but if I think Windows Movie Maker you can probably master within a day. Uh, if you want to expand upon that, but don't want to spend $1,000 on an editor, I recommend Corel Video Studio 5 because it is far from a great editor, but it is very good for starting off. It'll let you render in decent quality, and there is a lot of different effects to mess with. It's perfect for someone who's never touched a editing software before and wants to get good at it. It's a great start because going into something like Premiere, After Effects, or Final Cut. I've never used Sony Vegas, but I hear that one's also really good.
Mm.
Those are pretty complicated editors, and if you've never used an editing software before, you're not gonna be familiar with a lot of the stuff. And give me one more. I'm almost done.
You
Corel Video
can't.
Studio 7 is shit.
Oh, wait. Say that one more time.
I said Corel Video Studio 7, however, is shit.
Goodbye, everybody. Part 3.